Hey everybody, market report from today. A few more numbers about, up to 950 odd there today. Pretty handy yarding cattle of trade type cattle, and a few good runs of stores there mixed through as well. Job's probably fully firm, probably not too many holes in it there today. Very similar last week. The bulls started off, they might have been 5 cents either side. Probably 5 cents softer if anything. A lot of the bulls today make it 220 to 230 if they were lacking a bit of yield. If they were real good and finished and hard, they made up to 240. Very similar last week. We got onto the cows, the cow run. Big difference today if you had a good, well finished cow. Again, probably back to similar that it was 2 weeks ago. The real hard finished cows with a bit of yield made up to $2.45. I think a few younger looking type cows topped out at about $2.55. With most of those good heavy cows in the 35 to 45 bracket. The second run of cows, if they were just a little bit slippery, back in the sort of 215 to 220, and then the plainer cows, they might have lost a little bit of ground today, but those cows were reasonably light and definitely lacking a bit of finish. A lot of those cows anywhere from $1.80 to $2. If you got in the ultralights and the real big heavy cows, over fat cows, they were back $1.50, $1.60. We did have a big run of fairly light cattle there today. They were very light bulls mainly, actually. They were a couple of lines of them. They made anywhere from sort of $1.45 through to $1.80, but they were very light in condition and a bit of attitude too. Steers today fully firm on last week and very similar. Consistently making anywhere from sort of 270 through to 285. The very best of your sort of yearling 500 kilo-ish type steer made out to 298. I think they topped out at there, and the heifers again not too far behind. A lot of heifers 260 to 280. A few nice runs of heifers, even dropping in the weight a bit. You get down around 450 kilos, still making that similar money, 260 to 280 depending on quality and finish again. Stores. The good feeders, they might have gained a bit of ground actually. Some of the better stores around the 350 to 400, they topped out at 320 for a couple of decent lines of them, which was handy. And $3 was $2.85 to $3 for your bits and pieces of your Angus steers. Onto your coloured steers, 270 to 290. Again, topped out at about, I think, 298 for some grey steers at about 400 kilos. Steers return to the paddock. Similar situation, if there's a pen of them and they're well bred and they're nice types, $3.20. If they're a little bit off, they make $2.50 to $2.80 and go straight through into the heifers too. A lot of the heifers, if they've got a bit of breeding, you're $2.40 to $2.70, but doesn't take much to drop away to less than $2, $1.60, $1.80 if they're lacking a little bit of breeding. Little calves still struggling for a bit of interest on them. Obviously the dry time at the moment, we're just there's a few little cattle there not making a lot per head, so they're probably an attractive buy to put out on a bit of hay if you're looking for something to trade later on in the winter time or late spring next year. So I'd probably quote it very similar. Numbers up, good demand from everybody. All the normal buyers and processors were here operating on a reasonably firm market on last week. We'll see you all next week. We're not going to have the market the one before Christmas, so I think we've only got one more and then we'll have one off. All right, we'll see you next week.